Hello everyone, welcome to JavaScript Fundamental course of ServiceNow Scripting. Okay, let's go to our scripts background. Okay, so yes, in the last lecture we have covered what is array. Now let's cover what are objects. Basically, objects they are used they are used to store collection of key value pairs. There will be a key, and associated with the key there is a value, and key will be unique, value could be same. Okay, where key, let's string, where key will be unique and in the strings, and value can be anything, and any data type. Yes. Okay, so how do we declare objects? The declaration of objects. So suppose variable, we have a user. We will declare using curly braces. This is object declaration. And in that object block, we can declare our key and values. Suppose key is name, value is Adam, age 29. Suppose, so we have declared, so is teacher true. So we have declared string, number, boolean in the value part. And value can be anything and can be any data type, but the key will always be in the strings. Okay. We also declare functions. Suppose, okay, now you can see we have some exceptions. So for a function, we can directly put a variable name, not in the strings. And we can use any of the key of the object in the same object using this keyword. I can type it for declaring function. We can do without using strings. And for using any key in the object, we can use this keyword. Okay, so basically this keyword refers to the scope of the object, and using this dot name, it will return Adam. Okay, so if I want to use it, suppose gs dot info user dot greet function. Run the script. Hello, my name is Adam, because this dot name translates to Adam. This is the function's object scope, and dot name is the key. So if we use this dot name, it will return Adam. So this function will return hello, my name is Adam. Okay. Same thing. If I have to use any key, if I have to get any value, I can directly put user dot age 29 because I have declared 29 in the object. So to use function, we have to put these parentheses, and to get a simple key value data, we can directly put their key and value will be returned. We can also declare a new key value pair outside object. Suppose user dot country is Norway. Now, if I print gs.info user dot country, it will return me Norway. And if I just put user, you can see object. So we cannot directly print object. To print object, this is important, very important. This is very important. Print object, you have to convert it into you have to convert it into a string. You have to convert into a string. Okay. So if I put user dot to string, and if I try, still object. So the functions we have uh, visited in the last lectures, like dot to string, convert anything into string, will not work on the object. Okay. So dot to string will not work. To print it, we have to use special function, which is JSON dot stringify. I will tell you what is JSON. So basically, JSON is JavaScript object notation. This notation, this type of language widely used in integrations to send the data from one place to another. Okay. So we can do something like JSON dot stringify, then user. And if I run the script, now you can see this object is converted into a string by using this method JSON.stringify user. Okay, because JSON is JavaScript object notation. That is why to convert a JavaScript object into a string, we are using JSON.stringify. Okay, now suppose we have stored this string in a variable. Okay, and if I do type of str, it will return string because it is converted to a string. But suppose I want to use its object values like this. Suppose I want to know what's the username. I can't do it because in string we don't have these capabilities to convert it again. a string into a JSON object, we can use JSON.parse. As you can see, converts a JavaScript string into an object. So we have just to type string and we can do new user dot name, run it, and we can get Adam. Okay, so let me simplify it. At the very top, we have object. Okay, and objects are key value pairs. This is the curly braces, and we can define some things like name, age. Okay, suppose we have only these two key value pairs. Now, I can, if I want to access it, I can directly put, suppose my object name is user. I can directly use user dot name, user dot age, but I cannot directly print a user like that. Suppose I want to print gs.info user and I want to print all the details. It is not possible because in JavaScript, object is a data type. So if we want to print it, we have to use JSON. Now, what is JSON is basically JavaScript object notation. So as the name suggests, to to use JavaScript object functionality, we are using this notation, JSON. So we have two important functions, JSON dot stringify and JSON dot parse. Now, what's the functionality? JSON dot stringify converts object into string and parse is the reverse. It converts strings into objects. So this is JSON. This is the functionality to convert any object into string or any string into object using JSON.stringify and JSON.parse. I can also write it. Convert JavaScript object into string. And converts string into JavaScript objects. Okay, so these are the main core functionality of objects, but we have some inbuilt functions also. Okay, so like what are some inbuilt functions? Suppose I have declared another variable, which is my state, and my state is ABC. Suppose. So if I want to use, let me comment out this, this. Okay, now let's use our initial object user. Let's put this, paste it right here. Now, if I want to print my state, can I use directly my state? No, because it will throw me an error. because there is a gap. There is a gap. So to overcome this, we can also use like this. If some variables have spaces or special character that cannot be used directly like this, user.age, user.name, we can use this braces which have used in arrays, and we can retrieve the value. Okay, so this is one way, and this is another way to get the values. We can also use same variables like this. It will work for same, like if I do this and this. But for some special cases, we cannot use my state because dot, then it will break. So, but we can use here. It will not break. Okay. Yeah. Then we have another way to declare. Let me comment out this. First way to declare an object, we can also declare it like this. Suppose variable user to new object. Okay. Then same thing user to dot name. I can define user to dot age. Okay. And can print the values. To print it, first we need to convert. If we want to print the entire object, we need to convert it into a string using JSON method. Name is Max, age is 22. Okay. So this is one way to declare it, and the another way is to use this. So the basic difference between these two objects is memory allocation. That is not required, but let me give you an overview. In our memory, in a computer memory, we have two types of memory. The first is uh, heap allocation, and if I'm right, the second one is stack. So using new keyword, we can allocate our memory in the heap part of the system. And using directly this, we can allocate memory to the stack part. Okay, so this is the memory allocation type. Other than that, we have same type of functionalities. Okay, now, okay, let's, uh, we can also like delete an object. Suppose using delete keyword. I'm not sure, like I've not used anywhere. Suppose I want to delete is teacher, and let me paste right here. Okay, so before deleting, let's print the whole object. Sorry, JSON.stringify user. Now after delete, let's print it again. You can see name Adam, age, my state, and is teacher true. But after deleting is teacher key value pair, we have only these three. Okay, and we have some more functionalities like, let's use this. Okay, suppose I want to return all, I want to return all the keys. So I can do it via js.info using object.keys and user 2. So if I run it, name and age. So it has returned, suppose if I add another key, it will return me all the keys, name, age, and age teacher. Same thing, return all the object, all the values. gs.info object.values. Okay, object.values of and we have to define what object we need to use. So okay, why it is returning undefined? Okay, an object. Okay, so we have to define. Okay, this is new. Okay, so it's a good thing. If we have a doubt, we can always search it. It should return us an array containing all the properties. And we have used, okay, let's share it with. Hmm, not sure why it is. It is not working. It is plain simple. Maybe we have to stringify. I'm not sure. No, no, no. Okay, let's leave it. Leave it to the keys. Okay, I think for objects, this is good. Now let's cover some more topics related to numbers and all. Okay, so we have not covered number functions. So for number data type, we have some inbuilt functions. Okay, we have some inbuilt functions. Also, if you want to try, you can try why it is not working. Okay, why it is returning undefined object dot values. Okay, please try and debug why it is returning undefined. Okay, and we can discuss in the next lectures or you can comment down. Okay, so now let's focus on some inbuilt functions of the number. Suppose we have a number which is suppose pi, like pi value is 3.14, I think 15 something something. Okay, now I want only up to two decimal places. So for defining how many decimal places you want, you can use two fixed, and you can type your friction like fraction digits. If I run the script, it will show me 3.14. Okay, let's comment out this because we want to focus on number. Okay, yes. If I run the script, it will return up to two decimal places. If we want one, it will 3.1. And if we don't want it, it will return only the integer part, not the decimal. Okay. And suppose, yes, now I want to get the floor value. Let me write decimal precision, floor value. So to using floor value, we have to use math object, which is JavaScript inbuilt library math.floor. And we have to enter our number, which is 5. So you can see now I will tell you the difference. Just like floor, we have a seal, which is ceiling. Okay, so what does floor and seal does do? Suppose we have a value 3.14. So floor is the suppose we have a building. In building, what is the floor part? If I show you, suppose we have a building or a block. Okay, we are here. So this part is floor and this part is ceiling. Okay, so for a number 3.14, what's the floor? What's the lowest number without decimals? 3. And what's the upper without decimals? So seal becomes 4. You know, it is just like a rounding up to the next smaller and to the next greater. Okay, so we have these floor and seal libraries to use it. And suppose we want to round it using logic. ogs.info math.round. Suppose yeah, I have a value 4.4. If I round if I round this value, so it will return rounded to the nearest integer. So the 4.4. Let me comment out this. Yes. So the rounded to the nearest integer. So 4.4, from 0 to 4, it will choose the lowest value, and from 5 to 9, it will choose the next greater integer value. For 4.4, it will choose 4. But for the same thing, if I write 4.5, it will choose 5 because I have told you for 0 to 4, smaller integer side, from 0 to 9, from 5 to 9, larger integer side, in very vague language, okay? Very simpler language. And these parts, I'm talking about the decimal part. So suppose 50. and we have 50. Okay, let me copy and paste it. 15.0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now, as I've said, 0 to 4, from from for this part, it will return 15. And for 5 to 9, it will return next larger integer 16. You can see for some it will return 15 and for some it will return 16. So that's how you can use these libraries. And also there is an important concept which is known as random to generate random numbers. Okay. Now suppose I want to generate a random number. Math dot random returns a pseudo random number between 0 and 1. The core functionality of random is to return a number between 0 and 1. Okay, now let's do something like calculations. Okay, let's do some calculations. So random. So random. To use randomized things, we have math.random. Now, math.random, it generates numbers between 0 and 1. Generates number between 0 and 1. So I want to generate numbers between 1 to 10. What I need to do? So let's take a case. Suppose 0 and 1 returns 0.5 something something. So also we can use dot to fixed functionality or to only get the integer part, but it will always return 0 because something I have 0.9999. It will return 0, 0.01, it will return 0, 0.11, it will return 0 because for fixed, it will return only this part. So dot to fix is not good approach. We can use math dot floor field like this. Suppose like it is returning 0.5. First, I want 1 to 10. Okay, I want numbers 1 to 10. So to get numbers 1 to 10, take the last part. Suppose I want numbers from x to y. Get the last part. 0.5, 0.5 multiply y. In this case, we have 10. 0.5 multiply 10. So it will give us 5 point something something like 2, 3, 1, 1. Because it is it is in the I think 10 or 15 precisions. So now let's do math.floor, which gives only the fifth number. So we have fifth, but there is a problem. We cannot get 10 because suppose the largest number we can get is 0.9999999. And if we multiply it by 10, we can get 9.99. And if we do the math.floor, it will give us 9. So we can get the numbers from 0 to 9, but not 1 to 10. So you can see we need to just do plus 1. Okay, get my point. So to make it more simplifier, let's code. So math.random generates values between 0 to 9. What we can do is we can wrap this and we can save it as a number variable, random number. First, we can do math.random. We can multiply it by 10. And then we can do math.floor. And then we can do plus 1. So it will return numbers from 0 to 10. Sorry, 1 to 10. We will deduce it. Okay. So if I remove this and type random number, I can get 4. For the same thing, I can get 5, 7, 10, 9, but not less than 1 and not more than 10. Okay. Yes. So let's reduce it. So we have done math dot floor, math dot random multiply 10 plus 1. Now, according to the board mass theory, we have known first things under the bracket will get solved. So first math dot random. Suppose it generated 0.45621116. Suppose. Then we have multiplied it by 10. We get 4.562116. Now we have applied math dot floor and we get the only the lowest integer value 4 and we have done plus 1. So that's how we get 5. Same cases, suppose math dot random generates 0.00001. We will multiply it by 10. We will get 0.001. Now we can get the floor part 0 and plus 1. So the lowest value we can get is 1 and highest value is suppose we will have 9996, 0.9996. After multiplied by 10, we have this and get the floor 9 plus 1, 10. So the lowest and highest we can get is 10. Okay, so that's how we can build some logics and generate numbers. So your practice question is how can we generate numbers between 25 to 55. Okay, do this, build some logic and comment out the approach. Okay, now lastly, regarding the ServiceNow, regarding JavaScript fundamentals, lastly we have try catch block. So what is try catch? Okay, let's understand. Let's understand what is try catch. What is try catch block? Basically, try catch block is try something. If it breaks, if it if it breaks, go to the catch condition. So if we don't use try, if we don't use try, entire codes get failed. But if we use try catch, we can catch the error and resume our code execution. It will handle our bugs and saves us from crashing the entire system. Okay, so let's understand why do we need try catch. Suppose I want to print gs.info 5. Then I I want to print gs.info 5 divided by 0. 5 divided by 0 error, is an error because we cannot divide anything by 0. Okay, let me comment out this. Yes, and then I want to print hello. Suppose these are some of my logics. So if I run the script and see 5 gets printed. Okay, so our compiler handle it and said anything divided by 0 is infinity. But in some cases, we will get an error. So to get an error, suppose let's print run the script. Now you can see 5 is not printed, hello is not printed. Only because we have an error in this line. That is why our entire code like failed, crashes. So to handle this, we can use try catch. Suppose if I put try and put this, and then I do catch, and under catch, what we can do is we have to put a parameter known as error. If there is an error, please catch it and print out that error. If I run this script again, okay, I'm not sure why ServiceNow ID sometimes behaves like that. Okay, let's take another example. Suppose I want to parse, I want to convert an invalid string to to JSON. Yes. Now, as you can see, okay, there is a small catch. Try catch will handle only runtime errors, not compilation errors. Now, it is a very vast topic, like what is runtime and what is compilation error is. So, runtime error is we cannot identify this error while we are coding. But for the previous case, we know that this is a compilation error. We can see there is a parsing error which which is showing like which we can see while we are coding. But this error we cannot see. There is no error notification or any warning. So try catch only works when there is a runtime error, not the compilation errors. Okay, so suppose let me move out this and comment. Yes, if I run the script, you can see 5 is printed, but then this line gets executed and we have an error. Unterminated object literal. And after this line, nothing gets printed. You can see there are no hellos. But if we move this line into our try catch block, so try catch will try this line, and if there is an error, it will put the error in this catch block and it will execute all the lines after that. As you can see, 5, then unterminated object literal because this is not correct, and then we have hellos. So try catch will handle runtime errors. So our code will not crash and it will run as it is expected. Okay. So I think we have finished all the JavaScript fundamentals, which will be used in our ServiceNow scripting course. So from next lectures, we will move into the ServiceNow side. Okay. Okay. So that's it, guys. I will share the notes and all the code in the GitHub, and you can try it and take the reference. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you.